Yo, YouTube, what's going on? I got another modern video for you guys here today. We will be checking out this four-color Omnath Elemental deck. This is a list that was piloted by JDS Walker to a challenge top 8 finish. I ended up playing against this guy in that particular challenge, and I believe he was my round 5 opponent. He crushed me pretty hard. I was very impressed with this deck. I was quasi aware of it, but it's new enough to where I haven't actually played against it yet. So I figured I would check it out and show it to you guys and see how we do. So what do we have here? So this is a deck that has been around for a while. It was extremely dominant during the Yorion era of Modern. Now that card's banned, it kind of fell off for a while. Creativity kind of became the new 4 or 5 color deck. And this deck just quite frankly does not get played as much as it used to, except by people who love the deck. But recently they acquired a new card in the form of Nissa Resurgent Animist. So Nissa is a 3-mana 3/3 with a Lotus Cobra-esque effect. So when you play a land, you get a mana of any color. And if you trigger it a second time for each turn, for each turn, but the second time you trigger it each turn, you get to reveal cards off the top of your library until you hit an elemental or an elf, and you get to put that card in your hand. So we have a lot of targets for that in this deck. We have Endurance, Fury, Risen Reef, a playset of Omnath, playset of Solitude. So those are pretty good. Of course, a lot of people are trying this card in a lot of different shells, but this one is the most obvious. As far as the rest of the deck is concerned, we have Teferi Time Raveler, we have Leyline Binding, we have Prismatic Ending, we have a couple Eldrami's Call, and then we have a couple tutor targets for Eldrami's Call in the form of Elesh Norn, Mother of Machines, and Titania, Protector of Argoth, which is another elemental. So add that to the Nissa Resurgent Animist targets. So Elesh Norn is very strong in this deck. We have Leyline Binding, Solitude, Omnath, Fury, Risen Reef, Endurance technically. So a lot of ETBs to double up, but also people have found it to be quite strong against decks where Torp Orb is very good. The first one that comes to mind for me is Amulet Titan. It is a very devastating card against Amulet Titan. Obviously, their Titans don't work. They get to play their bounce lands for free, but at the same time, they don't get to bounce them and generate a bunch of mana. They don't get their untaps from it entering the battlefield, so very strong against them. And then this Titania, Protector of Argoth, is a card that I was interested in. I asked my opponent after our game about this card and if he thought it was good. And he mostly just said that he was having a hard time closing out games. It's Magic Online, and we have a chess clock. So if you are kind of a slower player and you always find yourself down on time, you know, your opponents might try to time you out, especially in these competitive events like challenges. And so that's the main reason he said it was there. I'm going to play his list as is and just see if it's any good. And as far as the main deck is concerned, nothing unusual. 4-color mana base, bunch of fetch lands for a Wrenn and Six, a couple Triomes, shock lands, a Boseiju. And I guess the only notable cards are a couple of Cavern of Souls to make your elementals uncounterable. As far as the sideboard goes, there are 2 Chalice the Void, good against Rhinos, good against Living End, and in this deck, good against Murktide. Don't know if I'll be siding it in or not if we play against Murktide, but Chalice on 1 literally does not hurt this deck. Our curve is very expensive. The only card that we could potentially have that would cost 1 mana is Prismatic Ending, and you could just cast it for 2 instead. We have Engineered Explosives, which is a flexible card, but primarily for Indomitable Creativity. Veil of Summer, good against counterspells, good against discard. We have Endurance, which is our graveyard hate, just backup Endurance. Dress Down is good against Urza Saga, and just maybe a random creature deck where this effect might be kind of a blowout. We have Force of Vigor, also for Urza Saga, but just in general, any deck that may be revolving around artifacts or a deck that has a bunch of artifacts. And then we have Hallowed Moonlight, which is primarily for Indomitable Creativity because it's so popular right now. But yeah, it's kind of interesting that this card has been around since Magic Origins, and it has more corner cases that make this card. It's not just for creativity. Like if you're in a pinch, you can play it against rhinos, you can play it against Living End, but it just happens to come up. Maybe like a persist style deck. This card comes up a whole lot more often than you would think, and I've been very impressed with this card, so I'm happy to play with it today. And as far as the deck goes, I think that's it. So I'm pretty excited to try this deck out, and I will see you guys in our round 1 of our Modern League. All right, guys, welcome to round 1. We are on the play. We'll take it. What do we have? We have some Prismatic Endings and a Nissa and some lands to trigger her. We will keep it. Now, this hand is probably going to suck if our Prismatic Endings suck. But if they're good, this hand will be good. So we're about to find out. Okay. I'm not quite sure what Island Springleaf Drum would be, but we're going to go ahead and just kill it. I'm not going to mess around with it. We'll play out one more fetch land and save the next one for our Nissa. And we'll just play out our Risen Reef next turn, unless they play something that I feel like we absolutely must kill for some reason. Mox Amber. I think this is that Diligent Excavator deck that, like, it has, like, some kind of weird loop with one of the new cards. So I think Mox Amber is actually, like, a really prime target for... Oh, well, they have a whole bunch in their graveyard, though. Because this is how they win. They loop Mox Amber. So that's definitely concerning. Kind of makes me think we should consider playing out Nissa right now. We could also just kill this Emery. And that might be better. Already have a tough decision here, because we could potentially die very, very quickly. We would have to play out our Prismatic Ending. Yeah, I don't want them to buy this Mishra's Bauble over and over again, but they also have access to 2 mana, so they might counter us here. So I think we will Prismatic Ending if that's the case. If their last card is Counterspell, there's a chance that it just, like, this is all they have. So it might not be too bad for us. Excellent. So we'll plan on casting our Nissa next turn, and we can also cast our Risen Reef in the same turn if we want. Solitude. Well, we can't cast that now, unfortunately, but... So if they have some kind of removal spell in response, so be it. I think I'm just going to get an island here. Or I could get a Hallowed Fountain. I think they don't kill me with damage, so... So I need to make green mana then. Omnath. Okay. That's a good draw. This leaves our Solitude open. I can make more mana, but it doesn't matter. Yep, we'll lose our mana. That's fine. Yeah, so now we can pitch our Solitude if they get something funky going. Like I said, I believe they win with like Diligent Excavator, so this Solitude could be nice. Ooh, Urza Saga is definitely nice. I might just get this now. I'm not even gonna wait. Yeah, let's not mess around with Urza. Like, I could have waited. Oh, dude, that is epic. Man, this Nissa and Wrenn and Six, that is going to be so broken. Yeah, this isn't right. So we need to make red mana off our Nissa. I think I'm going to get the Force just to preserve my life total. And what do I need to make with that? Island? Ooh. That's interesting. Is that better to cast this turn or next turn? I'm gonna go and cast this turn, I believe. Kind of my reasoning, I think, is that Omnath is better to pitch off of another Risen Reef. Omnath is just better if we like, let's say we drew a Fury there, we could pitch it, but if we drew a Solitude, we could also pitch it. So blue. Yeah, we can cast this. We can just do everything, right? Yeah, this is messed up. Okay. So we'll get our Stomping Ground here. I probably didn't need to shock myself there. I'm getting kind of sloppy. We'll leave open our white mana in case we draw like a Prismatic Ending. Okay. Oh, I needed to put that into play, but that's okay. I wonder if they'll trade off this construct and if it even matters. Yeah, I'm not even gonna attack. Like, that might be wrong. It very well might be correct to trade this Nissa off here, but it's just giving me so much value, and I don't really actually have an answer for this construct yet. But yeah, next turn for sure. Like, I'll be, if I don't find an answer for this construct, I'm 100% just bashing in. Yeah, this is nuts. Like, rebuy. I'm gonna get so much value next turn. Oh, is this a paradoxical outcome deck? Psymaster Thopterus makes me think this is an outcome deck. Thought Monitor. Oh. Okay. Good thing I saved this Nissa, because I'm going to need like a Fury to clean up this board. Omnath, okay. That's excellent. Man, I'm going to get so many cards. This is not right. I need to stop shocking myself, though, so I probably won't do that. Hopefully I have targets left in my deck. Okay. Oh, Teferi Time Raveler, sick. Yeah, I have plenty of targets. I'm just going to get an island. Okay. So I think what we want to do here is we use this mana right here. We are going to go ahead and bounce this construct. All right. And we will go ahead and cast this dude right here. We will kill the Psy. We'll exile it. Get a bunch of Risen Reef triggers. So we got white, red. Do blue, green. We can cast Omnath. See what he means by not having enough time to close out games here. I'm taking an awful lot of time to win this game. Life. We'll just keep floating white mana. Okay. Okay. Yeah, we'll lose our mana here. That's okay. We have more than enough cards. I'm actually attacking with just straight up everything. If they want to trade, if they want to eat an elemental, I'm okay with that at this point. Yep, that's fine with me. We have to discard some stuff. I don't need a Cavern. I don't need a Wrenn. Okay. Next turn, if I have the opportunity, I will Eldrami's Call for an Endurance. Upheaval. Oh my. That is completely devastating. I'm not going to lie. We may not be able to come back from that. Man, not to be salty, but every time I'm trying to make a video, I feel like we play against the weirdest stuff. Like, if you look back at my videos, like, all of my stuff is just... it's just, like, everything I play against is just, like... not everything, but, like, I've played against a very large amount of just, like, nonsense. How many cards off the discard? I'm going to get rid of all these fetch lands. Probably don't need that many Wrenn and Sixes. We don't need that. We don't need a Risen Reef. We don't need this island. We'll keep the Teferi. Oh boy. I am stressed. I'm stressed. I don't even know what we discarded. We mostly kept lands. That's okay. Lands are good. So we're going to Prismatic Ending. I believe this Mox Amber. Oh, we did not play the right land here. That's okay. 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 So go ahead and kill this guy. Man, there is no way we finish this game out on time. I'm going to shock myself. And I'm going to plan on flashing in this Endurance. Reality Chip, okay. 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 Man, I might shuffle my cards back into my graveyard. I know that seems crazy, but I'm going to just cast this Fury. Like, I need to get my opponent dead. That's the problem we're running into right now. Man, upheaval. Come on, man. So it definitely feels like the guy who played this deck was right. Like, time is definitely a concern. Like, I'm way down on time. I wonder if it's worth it to concede, like, straight up. He's got a lot of cards. I mean, I got a lot of value, though. Like, I have more Solitudes in my deck and Furies and such. Urza Saga, okay. Of course, I do have very good hate cards in my board as well. Yes. Okay, so we got a Prismatic End. We will go green. We're gonna make white mana. We plan on ending the construct. Oh, we hit another Nissa. I did not want another Nissa. All right, we'll attack. Oh, my opponent just took that. Wild. Yeah, I'm like one good turn away from like just kind of getting him. Hopefully he plays out a bunch of long turns to like kind of even out the time here. I'm almost 5 minutes down. We'll see. Yeah, I'm not going to say this is a bad matchup because this is pretty much, you know, a fringe deck we're playing against here. But I would kind of think Upheaval is good against this strategy that's trying to get a bunch of lands and bury our opponent and, you know, card advantage. I put a lot of cards on the board. Like, I need lots of lands to function. I imagine Upheaval is pretty good against this deck. That being said, my opponent is at 1 life, though. Of course, if I hit a Solitude again, like, they're going to gain a bunch of life. This is also a deck that Elesh, Norn, Mother to Machines is really good against. Like, other than Psy Master Thopters, it's good against a lot of this stuff. Like, it's good against Urza and Thought Monitor. Emry. Of course, it doesn't stop their activated abilities, but, I mean, it's got text. Dress Down is going to be good against this deck. They're making constructs. I'm okay with my opponent taking their time. I kind of want to draw a Risen Reef. Risen Reef is the best draw. I think I only have 1 left in my deck, but I also have an Eladamri's Call as well. Or do I have the full 2? Yeah, that's kind of good, because if I can get a bunch of land drops, I can kill with the Omnath. Right, this does damage to players, not planeswalkers. to each opponent and each planeswalker. Yeah, so I can kill by just hitting 3 land drops. I got a fetch land, that's 2. And then if the Risen Reef randomly hits, that's 3. So we may go to time, but we could also win this game. That helps for sure. Okay, my opponent has 4 blockers. Let's see what happens here. We have a Teferi Time Raveler. Definitely like that. There's a chance it wins us the game here. Oh, Omnath also gives us a ton of mana. So we'll just make another white mana, I think. Perfect. We got the Solitude. Play this guy out. See what my opponent has. We will bounce this Urza, I believe. Yeah, we'll bounce the Urza. I'm okay with that. Hopefully this kills my opponent. I cannot cast spells right now. Awesome. Awesome. Strength of the deck. We're down on time, but we got a shot. So, what do we want? Chalice of the Void. We want Force of Vigor, for sure. I don't know if we need Veil of Summers. I'm not super worried about counter magic, but it definitely probably exists. I like Chalice of the Void. I think Chalice on 0 might be good against them. What do we not want? That is the real question when every card in your deck is good. I think Prismatic Ending is probably still good. It gets a lot of their cheap stuff. But at the same time, like Leyline Binding is better at getting their big stuff, like their problem cards like Urza and Psy Master Thopterus and Emery. So that's kind of a tough call. I think I like the Leyline Binding. Like I'm bringing in Force of Vigor and Chalice of Void. I guess the real question is do we need engineered explosives? I could see that being good. I don't think the endurance is good. So we're going to cut that. What about the Priest of Titania? Do we want the Priest of Titania? Or do we want the call? It's hard to say. I think we don't want the call. I mean, and we can bring in engineered explosives. We're going to try the engineered explosives. There's a very real chance it's bad. My kind of thought is that it kills, at the very least, constructs, which I'm interested in. So I like the Solitudes and Furies. And I think that Titania is necessary because we're down on time. Obviously, it's just a one-of. We don't have a way to tutor it up anymore. But we'll see. We also got to consider counter magic as well. All right. I mean, there's not much to say about this hand. I think it's medium for sure. But I'm going to keep it. I have the dress down. Turn 1 Emery is a problem with this hand. If I draw a white card, I will Solitude it. I won't even mess around with the turn 1 Emery if I get the opportunity to kill it. Okay, our opponent played out some Mim Knights stuff. That's cool. And obviously it's not good content. However, if my opponent gets very far ahead of me, I will just concede on the spot. No matter how, even if there's a chance I get back into the game, if it's just looking bad, I probably will just concede just to give myself time. like for a game 3. Like obviously being on the play is just strictly better. All right, this is basically just a Spring Leaf Drum with a channel ability. Okay. All right, we need to draw some lands though, that's for sure. Fetch land, preferably. But I'll take any land. I won't complain. Okay. We will let our opponent tutor, but then we will dress down. Obviously, 5/5 construct is quite large. I don't know what he's going to Pithy Needle. I assume Wrenn and Six, but I'm not super concerned. This deck has a lot of card advantage just on its face. Teferi Time Raveler. Okay. I like that's cool. Ooh, the blowout. I really like that. Hopefully they don't have a dispute. They did not. Oh, I drew the fetch land. This doesn't draw cards. Man, this puts me in a good spot. Okay. So what do I want to do with our mana here? We can cast a Leyline Binding on the Void Mirror if we want. Or we can hit the Pithy Needle. That's tough. We do both. Yeah, we can do both if we want. Yeah, let's go for doing both. And we want this. Oh, this doesn't add us red mana, so our binding costs 2, so we can only do 1. And if that's the case, we will Leyline Binding the Void Mirror, so we have access to our pitch elementals. So this was a bad get. I was just thinking I needed black mana to get. I couldn't have made this cost 1, is what I'm saying. But if I can't make it cost 1, I needed to get red mana because it's just better. Like obviously I can't cast Fury now, which is terrible for me. Oh, our opponent is savaging us with these top decks, man. Just absolutely savaging us. We do need to get this Fury in the play. All right, we got a Risen Reef, so I guess we'll use it. So I'm not going to put this on the battlefield because I have a natural land drop. And I actually just want to play it because that'll make it enter tapped. I do not want that. So we'll make red mana. We need to get red mana too. To make our binding cost 1. Oh, I shocked myself when I really didn't have enough mana to do what I need to do. Unfortunate. It's all right. It'll fake them out. I'm certain of it. So we're gonna take a big hit this turn. For 6. I actually will block this Memnite. I know that seems like a meme, but I will. I'm binding this guy now. I want them to try to tap out for like a mystical dispute, not a mystical dispute, but a metallic rebuke. Or I want them to tap their artifacts to generate the card, which I'm okay with. Obviously, if they cast a 6-mana upheaval spell, I'm screwed. Like, I'm really, really toast. I will concede to that. Yes, I will concede to it. Yeah, so we have a couple Leyline Bindings out. It's made me reevaluate our Leyline Bindings here. Obviously, Prismatic Ending is just the way to go. And we'll just resubmit. 10 minutes. Obviously, 10 minutes is not ideal. It's not the worst I've seen, but it's also not the greatest. I'd like to play first, I would. All right, I'm going to keep it just for the Chalice. Chalice probably hurts them more than you would think. Got some lands on an Omnath and some Time Ravelers to reset some stuff. I'm on the play, so Time Raveler is going to be a lot better. You know, Chalice on 1 could be good too, but I'm willing to just throw it out there. This hand, I'm worried about a turn 1 Emery, but he cannot do that like this. Okay. I probably should save my next fetch land, I guess, is what I should do. I will bounce this Urza Saga. Oh, if I... Oh my goodness, my opponent. My opponent conceded. I have 10 minutes on the clock, dude. Just play it out. You know what I mean? Like, there's a chance I just... Even if he doesn't have lands, like, there's a chance I just can't kill him. You know what I mean? But yeah, I guess this Chalice of the Void must have just absolutely annihilated our opponent. That's the only thing I can see. All right. Well, awesome deck. We'll have to play faster in future rounds. So I will see you guys in the second round of our league. All right, guys. We're in round 2. I'm on the draw. Our opponent has revealed a Giganta. And our hand is... I don't know. It's kind of bad, man. Like, I got a lot of lands in this deck. I have a call. So I'm going to keep it, and I'm going to go get a Nissa if we draw nothing, and hopefully we don't die until then. My thought is that if we can tutor for something that kind of makes up for the fact that we don't have early plays, then it'll be all right. I think maybe in this deck, you'll probably have to keep hands like this sometimes. The really only early plays you have are Prismatic End, and Leyline Binding can happen on turn 2. Okay, so our opponent is playing Domain Zoo. And our deck is probably very good against this deck. We have Leyline Binding, Prismatic Ending, Solitude. So, like, even if we get beat down this game, I'm very confident that we have a good matchup against this deck. You know, Omnath can claw you back out of Tribal Flames range as well. Ooh, a Wrenn and Six. I would have liked to see that for myself. All right, there's our Nissa. That changes a lot. So I'm going to go ahead and just pass here. I'm going to ditch my Eladamri's Call. I don't need it anymore to my Solitude. I'm going to kill the Ragavan. I don't want them to have a huge mana advantage on us. Next turn, we have an Endurance Flash Blocker. If we want it. We don't even have to do damage. We can go get a Forest. And then next turn, we will play Nissa like a 4-drop. We'll go Nissa land drop. Of course, they haven't played anything that we even want to Solitude. Like, if I get the opportunity to save it, I definitely will. Brawler. Okay, there's really no reason to Solitude that now. I'll try to... There's really no reason to Solitude that either. With that being said, though, we'll at least wait till our turn. I'm not going to let it attack. That is for certain. Now we have to decide which fetch land we would like to keep. And I think getting a Plains is probably going to be more important than getting an island. So I will play out the Misty Rainforest, and that'll get our forests. And we'll see what happens. I'll probably block the 5/3 here and just trade. I don't think we can take 5 here. We could block that and take 5, 6, 7, 8, and that will put us to 8, 9, 10, 11. That's lethal. That'll definitely get us lethaled by Tribal Flames. The question is can we beat a Tribal Flames if that's the case? Because we might not be able to. I really don't want this Ragavan to hit us, is what I'm saying. We take 8. That leaves us dead to Bolt too, so I don't really think that's an option. Yeah, that's just not an option. Yeah, this deck on the draw is really brutal. Or not on the draw. This deck being on... Their deck being on the play. It's very hard to play against Domain Zoo when they're on the play like that. So, kind of a weird thought, but I'm actually going to Endurance main phase. Or not main phase, beginning of combat. My thought is I can gauge what's in their hand based off how they attack. Like, I can't stop them from removing it before blockers anyways. I'm going to shuffle the Solitude back in as well. Just give my opponent the opportunity to make a mistake. Like, if they tap out here, that says a lot about their hand. Like, if they just attack all and then just force damage without doing anything, I pretty much know they have a burn spell at that point. People are really protective over their Ragavan. And so I will not play around Tribal Flames here if they choose to, like, Leyline Binding it. Dramoka's command. Okay, well, that was always happening. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh, I die. Awesome. Brutal. Yeah, that hand was just too slow. I needed some kind of removal spell in my opener. So, what do we have that's good? Honestly, not a lot. I could see this Dress Down being good. But is it better than, like, a Flash Endurance? Probably not. I could see it being better than Risen Reef. Maybe Engineered Explosives. Like, I don't know. Like, the thing is, I think this matchup's got to be insane for us. Do I want this Dress Down? Like, it doesn't really do a lot, but it can shrink, like, Tarmogoyf and Brawler and Wild Nacatl. Like I said, the real question is it better than Risen Reef? And it might be. I'll cut one Risen Reef for sure. This might be a matchup where Call is just too slow. Like, we don't have time to cast it. And we'll try that. Seems kind of like a weak way to sideboard, but I think it's fine. I'm not even sure if the Dress Downs are good is the thing. Like, our deck has so many good cards in this matchup. Ooh. So how much this makes it cost? Oh, this Cavern is really painful. Yeah, I think we have to mull this. I can't afford this hand. Ooh, no, not like this. Oh, this cavern is really painful. I'm going to keep this one. I'm going to bottom this. That is very far away. And we're just going to hope. Like, we're just going to hope. We have to hit a land in the next 2 draws. I will name Elf with this no matter what. Fetch land. All right, so I'm naming Elf because I want to be able to cast my Nissa no matter what land I draw. Man, this sucks. I need a land. I can't even really cast Prismatic Ending on a 2-drop here. This doesn't make colored mana. Yeah, that's rough. All right. Well, we're not letting him attack with this thing, so we're going to go ahead and pitch this Elesh Norn. Yeah, this might be a fat L. I really needed to hit a land there. If I rip land, I still have a chance. For sure. It's not over. Of course, if they play a 3-drop here, we're in really bad shape. Like, we need them to play another 2-drop. I don't even know what 3-drops this deck does play. Yeah, Brawler. That's fine. And then a Coddle. At least that's a thing we can kill, so I'll be happy with that. Wrenn and Six. That's bad. All right, we're going to die. I've preordained it. We're going to die. Okay, Scion. It's fine. It's whatever. Like I said, we're going to die. Land. All right. If we're not dead next turn, I'd be surprised, to be honest. What you got, opponent? Okay. It's weird that that card is in against us right now. None of the cards that we play in our deck you would ever want to bounce. Yeah, we're dead. So I'm going to go ahead and scoop it up. Kind of a non-game. In the dark, we just had to keep a kind of, maybe a loose hand. I could have put it back, but I think in the dark, that hand could have been fine. And game 2, obviously, you didn't hit lands. Hitting lands is very important in Magic, so it does kind of suck. I suspect this to be a very strong matchup. Prismatic Ending, Solitude, Fury are all extremely strong in this matchup. All of my cards seem insane. I can bury them very easily. They have to play to the board. I think Tribal Flames and Bolt are like their only reach. So, yeah, I don't... This doesn't make any colored mana. Yeah. All right, well, I will see you guys in round number 3. All right, round number 3. We are on the play. We'll take it. Ooh, man. So brutal. So, my thoughts about this hand is that if we draw land, it's extremely good. Like, we got Wrenn and Six, land. Man, this Cavern, I think this card is questionable in this deck. Of course, I've played a limited number of games, but it not being able to cast your spells is very painful. I mean, it's probably insane against Bergtide, to be fair. On the play, I think I'm a mulligan. Okay, this is better. Obviously, it's not ideal. I'm missing blue mana. But, maybe Nissa can make blue mana. Yeah. I'm gonna bottom this forest. We're gonna draw more lands. I have faith. I have faith we're gonna draw more lands. Like I could bottom this Titania. It's definitely a slow card. All right, Boseiju is gonna be good, I guess. But it's my third land drop. I mean, I'm gonna do it. Like, that's why I kept it over forest. Yeah, not bottoming that Titania seems really dumb now. I do not have a third land. We still haven't drawn one. Like, we could just draw a land. That'd be nice. Our opponent exiles our thing. It's going to make Wrenn and Six bad if that's our draw step. How much does this cost right now? 3? Ooh. Jeez. At least we can pitch our Solitude. Amulet of Vigor entered the exile zone. Oh, okay. From their graveyard. I was like, how are they doing that? Land, please. Okay. We've drawn a land. The question is do we want to cast our Teferi or do we want to cast our Nissa? And I think that answer is to cast Nissa. It's a threat. Teferi can be cast at any time. We still have Solitude up. This is just the highest payoff here. Man, this drawing no fetch lands kind of hurts. I wonder if one of our caverns, maybe just keep one cavern instead of play the two. I wonder if it should be an extra fetch land. You know, we got this Titania and we have Wrenn and Six. Well, I'm going to play it. And I'm just going to main face play this thing. It's fine. We still have Solitude for the... presumably, they're just working their way towards a Titan right now. Like, they're just going to hard cast it. And luckily, since they don't have an amulet, I don't have to worry about dying. Okay, that's a card I have to worry about. But we got the Time Raveler. He'll cover it. Okay. I wonder what they get here. Is it just more Urza sagas? Because that would be insane. They could get Bounce Land plus the Transmute Land that goes and gets their Summoners Pact. Yeah, there you go. Although, honestly, just getting double Saga is insane here. My draw is slow. But then again, they don't have any artifacts in play, so... How much does this cost right now, too? So I'm going to plan on Solituding it, but... I think it's wise here to just... bounce the Saga first to see if I draw a fetch land or something. Okay. So I want to Leyline Binding it, but at the same time, I think now that they have the Teleria West, they can go get their Boseiju and get more Primeval Titan triggers, and that's something that I don't want. So... yeah, this has been an extremely awkward draw. If we ever had a fetch land, like their draw's definitely been on the awkward side as well. Oh no. Yeah, their draw has definitely been on the awkward side as well. Like if I ever drew a fetch land, this Titania would have pressured my opponent pretty significantly. Does this have an attack trigger? I don't believe it does. It does not. I think we're in a lot of trouble this game, though, just to be honest. They got an 11-11 that I can't currently deal with. And bouncing it back to their hand doesn't seem ideal either. And I'm certain they have like a ton of Titans in their hand as well. So kind of the same problem as last time. Casting Time Raveler just... it's just like kind of bad, right? So what do I want to do here then? Okay, I'm doing it because I have to. At least this way they have to spend mana to do their thing. Although I might just be dead to just a straight up Titan right now. Just like Titan Haste. Surely they have an amulet by this point in the game as well. Or not. Whatever. Oh, do they have 2 Colossuses? That makes sense. Oh, no, they don't. Oh, okay. I see what they did there. Smart. This doesn't technically kill me. Oh, but the Boseiju for the Colossus is like pretty much death. They just tutored for their Boseiju there. Yeah, I think I'm just going to scoop it up. Like, I'm not coming back from this. Ooh, that was unfortunate. We've had some really, really bad beats. Okay, so what do I want to do to stop this dress down? I like that. Force of Vigor is good as well. They have Saga in their deck. What about Chalice of the Void? Is Chalice of the Void worth it? I think so. We're gonna put this in a maybe pile. I'm thinking Chalice on 0 can be kind of like legit good, right? So these calls, I don't think they're good. There's not a particular thing in my deck that I want to tutor, like maybe Solitude. I guess Elesh Norn, so let's keep him. Fury, I believe, is not good. Do I need this Priest as like a burst of damage? Something's got to go. Teferi is good. Endurance? Nah, we don't need that. Although it is a good 3-mana attacker. I'm just not certain about this Chalice. I don't want to fall into that trap where I like always side in Chalice because it doesn't hurt me. Like, I could see Chalice on 0 being good just for Summoner's Pact. Is 1 good? Is Chalice on 1 good? The question is it better or worse than Endurance? That's the real question, right? You know, honestly, is Explosives just better? I think so. Now, what do I want to cut? Like an Omnath? A Wrenn? No, Wrenn for Boseiju is insane. Yeah, we'll do this. All right, we'll go first again. We have a call. Okay. Okay. So we have Eldrami's call for Elesh Norn. So we're going to try that. Leyline Binding is going to have to hold the fort, basically. And hopefully Wrenn and Six just, I don't know. He'll draw us lands, so we'll be able to cast our Elesh Norn. That's the plan. We got a good amount of sideboard cards in our deck that we can draw into as well. So hopefully this Leyline Binding can stop the first kind of onslaught of spells. Is my opponent mulliganing? Let's check the game log real quick. They have not made any decisions. Every time an opponent does this, when somebody does this, they haven't mulliganed, but they haven't, chose to keep, and they're just thinking on it. Their hand is either really insane or really bad. Probably means they're missing something. Ended up going down to 6. So, good for them. Oh my goodness. Uncounterable Arboreal Grazer. Jeez. All right. We're going to pass. Hopefully we can get this Elesh Norn down in time. It's obviously kind of a long shot. Like, you need good interaction against this deck in order to make it to that stage of the game. But if you do, it's going to be good. Like, last game was a perfect example. I had just enough interaction to survive. Zuza. Okay. All right, they have a lot of mana. They have 2, 3, 4, 5. It's starting to look like a Titan. So there's nothing that they have in play that I have to be super concerned with. Do I want to go ahead and cast this call? So I can leave Sacred Foundry in my deck to cast a Leyline Binding. So I need to get the Steam Vents in order to cast Wrenn and Six and cast Call. What am I? I'm an idiot, actually. Steam Vents does not cast my call. Oh, I'm so bad. Okay, Prismatic Ending. I like that. That's fine. I'll act like I know what I'm doing here. Sacred Foundry does give me domain, though, so my bindings will cost 1. My opponent is deciding what they would like to do here. I mean, I just have 1 land. Like, they're probably going to be able to thwart me, no matter what I do. Like, if they want to pop it here, they will. And they probably will. Like, why wouldn't they? So I want to get Sacred Foundry so all these work. Let's see if they pop it. They did not. That's interesting. I actually even think they were F16. I could have Prismatic Ending the Relic there, but I really don't want to do that. I want to leave open Leyline Binding for Titan. Oop, I just opened up like my news feed there for a second. My opponent is deep in the tank. Let's see what they come up with. I wonder what their last card is. Like, they've stopped in their upkeep. Like, why would they do that? Like, maybe they want a Summoner's Pact in their upkeep for some reason. But wouldn't you want to just draw the Titan, if that's your plan? Are they thinking about copying the Relic? It's kind of good against Wrenn and Six, right? Opponent. Well, that's my opponent. He's okay. Sometimes maybe he's like trying to do stuff, but he doesn't know why he can't cast spells. Maybe he's the milkman has knocked on his front door, delivering him milk. There we are. We got an opponent back. Nice. So what can they have for 5 mana? I don't know any 5 mana cards this deck plays. 4 mana cards? 3 mana cards? Is this just like a Dryad of the Elysian Grove? Oh no, he thinks he has. So he does have the Titan. He just didn't know. He thought he had 6 mana. That's fair. He could still have a land. There's his land. Okay, so we know we got a Titan coming down for sure next turn. My opponent did not even bother to attack. What does Teferi Time Raveler do? Pretty much nothing. Yeah, it does nothing. Okay, opponent. I understand. So we'll get a Temple Garden, I think. We'll shock. Since my opponent is going to just not attack me. And we'll pass the turn. So our plan is to Binding the Titan and then cast Eladamri's Call and go get our Elesh Norn and just cast it. Would have loved to get the Binding down before the Titan, but the Azusa really accelerated their plan here. We'll let our opponent tutor before we Binding. That way they've made every decision that they could have made before they know that they don't have a Titan in play. I imagine they have bounced to Teleria West here to go get a Titan. I might even... No, I was about to say, I might Prismatic Ending this Relic, but I cannot. I thought I had the Teferi in play for just like a brief second, but obviously I couldn't do that and cast my call. I wonder if they're going to attack this turn. Yeah, Moto Leagues are weird. You know, some people are playing Upheaval and other people refuse to attack with their creatures. There we go. So we'll wait till the end step. We'll cast Leyline Binding on Primeval Titan. We will get an Elesh Norn. And we're going to save the fetch land. It feels bad to shock ourselves again, but at the same time, I want to save a fetch land for if I draw a Nissa, which I think is more than reasonable. We also have a really sick line once Elesh Norn is in play. We have access to play Teferi, bounce Leyline Binding, giving them back their Titan. It won't get its ETB. Then we can redeploy the Leyline Binding to get double triggers, and we'll get a card out of the deal as well. We'll also have double Omnath triggers. So we are going absolutely ham next turn. Okay. I imagine our opponent eventually cracks their relic as well. I don't know what this deck could play that would get rid of this Elesh Norn. I think the only, like, the removal spell they play is Elesh Norn, right? Or not Elesh Norn, but Dismember. So we knew about the Teleria West. We knew they were going to get to do this. And they chose to cast an Urza Saga. Okay. All right. They're transmuting again for another Urza Saga. Okay. They can play both of them if they want. And they did. Oh, they have 3 even. Wow. They are ready to grind us down. Definitely don't like that. So we will go blue, white. No, that's got to tap for red. Red, white, green. Here's our Omnath. We're going to get to draw 2 cards off this. Our opponent might time out. I thought we'd be the only ones getting close to time. It's a pretty good chance somewhere in this game I might have to fast forward it for you guys. We'll see. Land. Come on, spell. So what do I want to do here? Do I want to make that Leyline Binding play? Huh. I could just bounce a Urza Saga, which could be reasonable. They can activate every single one of them. Yeah, man, it's definitely tough. I can get their Azusa if I bounce the Leyline Binding. That might be worth it. Man, our opponent is getting dangerously behind on time. I suppose it doesn't matter if they're like, yeah, I'm gonna win this one, and they could. Triple Urza Saga is definitely a threat. I got to find an answer to that very quickly. They're going to be very large constructs, but we have the Elesh Norn, so any Solitude, Fury, Leyline Binding will be absolutely insane, even against constructs. The problem with that I'm having right now is if I bounce my Leyline Binding, I cannot let Primeval Titan attack. That is for sure. That will not be happening. So he just needs to not activate his Urza Saga's main phase, which why would he, you know? Then again, if I can get if I can get this Wrenn and Six to ult, I can Prismatic Ending a bunch, but this Relic of Progenitus is going to limit the number of lands that I'll even have in my hand in the first place. I will bounce the Leyline Binding. I'll just get the Azusa while I'm at it. There's no reason to leave my opponent with a bunch of stuff. And I'm going to cast this now in case they have like a weird, I don't know, force of something or another. Force of, what's it called? The blue force. It's like a pact of negation. I think I'm going to hit this relic here, even though they're going to pop it in response just to get rid of it. Like I said, my plan might be to ult this Wrenn and Six. It's going to go up to 6 and then 7. So if I can defend it for one turn, I can turn my Prismatic Ending on and just kind of snipe every construct. I'm running under the assumption at this point that my opponent is just having internet problems and that they disconnected during that first really long pause they had. It's definitely unfortunate. I have been there before. Your just internet dies for no reason. Now, hopefully my opponent does not draw anything too good off of that. It seems very weird, but is it weird though? Nah, I don't think it is. I was going to say, I might save it just to gain life. We'll see if that ends up being a mistake or not. But there was a reasonable chance that I should just save it and I'll gain 4 life if I fetch on my opponent's turn. But I just want to make sure I have enough lands to pitch to my Wrenn and Six ultimate. I may be really leaning on it. I'm going to get Hallowed Fountain and I'm going to leave the Triome in my deck. Okay, I'll uptick. Yeah, if I draw the Triome, that would be like a good thing to cycle with. So I presume that they just pass and activate all their Urza sagas. I have a Teferi Time Raveler, so I can give my Prismatic Ending basically flash. So I can make that decision whenever I want. Of course, I definitely don't want them copying this Amulet of Vigor a bunch of times, but I assume they just have to be on the Saga plan. Like, Amulet of Vigor doesn't do anything. I feel like I definitely need to draw at least one more spell. That is a huge mistake. I don't think they realize that Elesh Norn stops it. It's not even a huge mistake. They can activate all their sagas. Doesn't even matter. Ooh, vicious. Absolutely vicious. So plus. So they can make 3 guys right now. And I can blow up pretty much all of them. Which is probably what I should do. I don't think they have anything that they can tutor that matters. Oh, they probably have a pithing needle. Okay. I think I'm going to put a stop on my opponent's upkeep here. There is a good chance that I kill all of their constructs in the upkeep instead. Obviously, I don't want them to draw a card before I do it, but or maybe I should wait. You know, because I might need to hit a pithing needle. It just depends on what they get. Of course, like I said, my opponent may time out. I think they're kind of in a position where they have to win this game now because of it. I also don't even think I'm going to bother attacking. Like I said, because I want to see if they get Pithing Needle, I might need to hit that with my Force of Vigor. So I'll just pass. I'll have plenty of mana next turn. Yeah, I don't know why I was worried about the Force of Negation. I have a Teferi Time Raveler, so that was pretty silly of me. So we'll see what they get with their Urza Saga before we decide what we want to hit with our Force of Vigor. Obviously, we need to kill enough of them to protect our Wrenn and Six. But if they get the Pithing Needle, I don't think I activated my Wrenn and Six. Oh no. Oh no. That's not good, YouTube. Oh boy. Oh no, I think I punted. Yeah, that's a problem. It's fine. I can still kill 3 of these guys. Maybe some justice can be had here. If that were the case, it was way better to just kill every Urza Saga. Oh, they can go get Boseiju too. Or like Teferi and just like do whatever. Oh, so all Amulet of Vigors. Alright. Where's... Oh, well, hold on. So we will just blow up these guys right now. We're going to use our floating mana here. So we will blow up these guys. It's worth mentioning that they didn't get a... they didn't go get a Pithing Needle, so it's not present in their deck. At least, probably not. They're probably not as worried about it because I did not even activate my Wrenn and Six on my turn. Obviously, that's problematic. I just got so focused on what I was doing with my... I just got so focused on what my plan is when I ulted my Wrenn and Six that I forgot to plus him. Unfortunate. Maybe I'll draw something and I'll still have the opportunity to ult him. And that looks like it's going to be the case, actually. So... oh, I did not mean to do that. That's okay. That is fine. Is there a reason to shock this in? I honestly don't think it matters. We will rebuy this. We will plus our Teferi. Now, they can get in for at least a point of damage by attacking with their Azusa as well. But we'll see what we draw here. That's going to be a big part of it. We have dress downs in our deck. Oh, Leyline Binding. Truly absurd. Truly absurd. I suppose we can just wait. Which is what we'll do. Well, let's not do that. Let's not wait. Let's go ahead and Binding now, because we can just dome them. They have to block. They have to double block even. Okay. So they scooped it up. It was right. Once we drew the Binding, it was correct to wait on the Wrenn and Six plus. Then when we down-ticked our Teferi, we drew the Binding. We can double Binding the construct tokens, and then we double attack. If they don't double block with Azusa and Arboreal Grazer, they will die to a Wrenn and Six ping. We have 8 damage. They're at 8. Oh, no, it doesn't even matter. They just die if they don't double block, period. Interesting. All right, so that was round 3. I will see y'all next round. All right, guys, we're in our last game here. I forgot that he actually won game 1. So I thought it was over, but it wasn't. So I let my opponent sit here for a minute on accident. This hand is fine against this deck. Mostly it has an answer to a turn 1 Amulet of Vigor, which I will now use. We also have multiple answers to constructs, which is excellent. We have Engineered Explosives and Dress Down, although I will favor the Engineered Explosives to kill constructs if possible, because the Dress Down stops Saga. Or not Saga, but the Giant. Okay, Solitude is a good draw. We will go ahead and play a Misty Rainforest. I suspect that getting basic plains is usually more relevant than getting basic island, but I intend to get a dual land here. Kind of looks like my opponent is trying to just hard cast a Giant, which is totally acceptable. I have a dress down right now, so I was trying to count their mana. They have 2, 3, 4, 5 mana. So, I'll let it happen. 2, 3, 4. Yeah, if they hit a land drop here, I get to dress down them. Okay, Amulet of Vigor is fine. I got a EE for 1. Yeah, we'll get this. That's fine. Force of Vigor is obviously insane. So how do I want to do this then? I can't really pitch cast it. I don't have any green cards. We'll name Elemental. Damn. And we'll go ahead and cast our Engineered Explosives for 1, but we're not going to crack it. We want to leave open the dress down for the Titan. Okay, they got a Summoner's Pact. That's pretty much going to kill them. This dress down, or not this dress down, this Primeval Titan needs to work out for them. All right. We will cast our dress down. Bam. And we drew a Time Raveler. Excellent. Another Time Raveler. Okay. So what do we want to do here? We definitely have several options. Not killing this Primeval Titan is obviously not an option. And I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to exile Teferi with my Solitude and kill the Titan now. And do I want to crack my Engineered Explosives? And I think the answer to that is yes, I do. I could hold open mana for Force of Vigor, but this is pretty much the same difference. They have a Summoner's Pact to pay for. Okay, they don't lose the game this turn. They have Valakut. Okay, that's a pretty good card. Unfortunately, I think I have to just cast a Time Raveler, and I'm just going to draw a card with it. I have another one. Okay. I don't really want to use this Solitude unless, like, I want to use it for a Titan, obviously. Like, I'm kind of playing for time here, to be honest. So I'm just going to leave my mana open. I think that's totally an okay thing to do. We just need to not die to... Oh, so this is going to go get Teleria West. Is going to bounce at Teleria West. So I might Boseiju this in response. Yeah, I think that's a smart thing to do, so I'm going to do it. I don't want them to be able to pact for a Titan again. Of course, they may have another Titan in their hand, which is acceptable. As long as they don't have a amulet, I'm not super concerned with whatever they're trying to do. I'm gonna make sure I have enough green mana as well. Breeding pool. We will cast this Omnath because we have the additional Teferi for backup for pitching our Solitude. All right, we've drawn a land. Now, it's a little unfortunate that this leaves our Force of Vigor down. But at the same time, like if this were a real game and I wasn't chess clocking my opponent, I would definitely make this play. All right. This time we actually did win the game, so I will see you guys in round 4. All right, guys, welcome to round 4. My hand is decent, so I'm gonna keep it. We got a Wrenn and Six and 2 lands. It's probably worth a keep. Couple interactive spells. Yeah, we'll be killing that. So what land do we want to get? I don't think we can make the Leyline Binding cost 1, but we can make it cost 2 next turn if we want. Is Temple Garden better? I don't think it matters. Yeah, let me get the Sacred Foundry and we get Breeding Pool next turn, right? No, Temple Garden is better because we can go Temple Garden, Breeding Pool. But that doesn't make our Leyline Binding costs any less, but it helps us cast Risen Reef. Yeah, this is fine. We need to hit a land anyways if we want to cast more spells. It could very well be that Temple Garden is better. We can go get like Raugrin Triome as a tap land. We may not fetch Shock next turn. Like, obviously, we prefer not to. Of course, this is also Murktide more than likely, so it's not like we necessarily want to run our Wrenn and Six out on curve either. If we draw a land, we probably will. We'll just, like, jam. Yeah, see, that's a problem. For sure. We didn't necessarily want another Leyline Binding. Yeah, we're going to pass. If they spell Pierce us, they spell Pierce us. I wonder if this deck wants an extra land. Okay, our opponent has a Ledger Shredder. Hopefully they don't draw a land off this Ledger Shredder and they just miss their land. I think that would be ideal. I want to be able to Wrenn and Six ping the Ragavan, but I mean, we're going to go for it no matter what next turn. So it doesn't really matter. But obviously we don't want to get hit by this guy anymore. Excellent. We even drew the land, so that's good for us. We're going to be really leaning on our Omnath to gain some life, I think, this game. Oh, no, I didn't. Oh, I'm so bad. I've made multiple careless mistakes. Hopefully that doesn't bite me. Oh, the pain I feel when I do stuff like that. Moto problems. Okay. So we will actually get our land this time. We will just continue to kill threats. We're going to play out our shock land here. We would like to not take damage. Hopefully our opponent is running low on threats here. I'd much rather be facing down like triple counterspell than like Murktide Regent. Yeah, see, that's fine. I'll be more than happy to just sit here and burn some counterspells off our opponent. Yeah, more than happy. More than happy. We'll play the Flooded Strand because that's the one they know about. We'll actually go for Omnath next turn. We have 2 copies. Obviously, we want to try to gain a little bit of life if we can. We will go get our Black Triome. So we have Domain. Okay. So white, red, blue, green. Omnath. Okay. We will pass the turn. We'll decide what we want to do with this fetch land at the end step here. Yeah, because we drew another land, we can enable the double landfall trigger. So we're gonna go for an Omnath again. Oops. Omnath is hard, bro. Ugh, what am I doing? So red, blue, green. All right, we did it. Yeah, I think we're just gonna get the Triome. Okay. And we'll go ahead and cast this. Obviously, that was an insane turn. The question is what do we want? I think Solitude is excellent. And I think Titania could be excellent as well. We'll go ahead and go for the Titania. That could be really greedy if we're facing down, let's say, a Murktide. But we have the Time Raveler to try to attempt to bounce a Murktide. But Titania plus Risen Reef is kind of a combo. She makes elementals, which triggers Risen Reef, which makes more elementals potentially. Okay. So our opponent completely tapped out. That's good for us. Oh, Wrenn and Six is insane. So I think we want to try to kill this Ledger Shredder before we bounce the Murktide. So let's do that. Okay. So I think we can do everything. Yes, we can do everything. I don't think we can cast Priest. Actually, we can cast Priest if we want to, but I think I'd rather just deal with this Murktide. This will get an island. We could cast Priest here, but I don't know. I keep calling her Priest, but Titania. But it'll be better next turn when we have the Wrenn and Six already in play and we're guaranteeing ourselves a fetch land. Yeah, okay. Obviously, it's the better play if your opponent just immediately concedes to it. Now, what do we not want? I think Endurance is insane. I think Veil of Summer is potentially good. I think this is bad. I think Elesh Norn is bad. I think Call is unnecessary. Now that all of our bullets are gone, we'll just play with what we got. Now we can consider Chalice of the Void. Like I was talking about, Chalice on 1 is going to be kind of insane against them. We just have to decide if it's better than Risen Reef or not. Because I like all these other cards. Leyline is good against Murktide and Ledger Shredder. Prismatic Ending's pretty much good against everything but Murktide. Got a nice little Jund strategy here. Yeah, I'm just going to resubmit. We'll reevaluate next game. If they were playing Breach, Underworld Breach, I would say that I could for sure side in the Chalice of Void because Chalice is very good against Breach. Yes, I would like to keep this, but we've seen a Murktide, so we know at the very least they probably aren't playing it. Okay, so we got some removal spells. We can deal with the first couple things. Okay. Teferi is way better on the draw, or not on the draw, on the play against this deck because of Ledger Shredder. Depends on how many Shredders they're playing. If they're playing 4, being on the play with the Teferi is insane. So we'll get our Raugrin Triome. I don't think it matters which shock land we play here, but I would like to play a shock land. I want to try to save a fetch land, if possible. I think Stomping Ground is slightly better, so we'll play that. Go ahead and kill this bad boy. And we'll pass the turn. Hopefully they just tap out for a Murktide Regent. That'd be sick. Oh. Yes, this card. All right. So we could have fetched some basics here. That's worth mentioning. I don't know why I just blanked on my opponent running Blood Moon, but I definitely did do that. I could have got a basic Plains with this Windswept Heath instead of the Triome. And that for sure sets me up to get a Blood Moon. Like I can just 5 mana cast my Binding. I think as is, though, I'm like kind of cold to it. There's a chance I should save this just to hard cast it, but I'm expecting it to get countered. Yep. Oh, I can pay for that. Yeah, I'll pay for it. I thought he was casting Counterspell. Mystical Dispute is not Counterspell. Hey, maybe I draw the planes. If I draw the planes, I'm in really good shape. As long as they don't play something that's going to kill me here. This doesn't necessarily kill me. My opponent does not have very many cards in their hand. Oh, Island would have been nice. So knowing that they play at least one Mystical Dispute is huge. I might not have even shown me that if I were them. Like, they couldn't even counter what I was trying to cast, so I don't know why they did that. I guess their thought was, like, they're not going to be able to cast anything, so I'm going to just use it on anything. But it didn't even get my spell, and, like, I don't know. I think that hiding the information is literally more important than that. Like, now I'm going to play around that card. It's not... They don't always play Mystical Dispute. Like, I know it's not an uncommon card, but it's not played that often either. It could not be unreasonable to see a Murktide list without it. Okay, they're hitting blanks off my deck at least. That's good. I mean, I'll keep playing it out. I still got the planes in my deck. I'm pretty sure I do. Yep. I mean, they clearly have just like a bunch of counter spells in their hand, but it's whatever. All right, they got my basic forest, which is painful. Man, they're hitting my basic lands. Ugh. All right, I'm going to just concede. It's fine. Let's see if I would have drawn it. They would have drawn this. I would have drawn that. They would have drawn this. I would have drawn that. They would have drawn this. I would have drawn that. Yeah, I'm dead. Okay. Now, how do things change? Do I want Force of Vigor? Probably not. Okay, so I've changed my mind on a few things. The first thing I've changed my mind on is I definitely want this Chalice of the Void now that I'm on the play. I think that's a good move. The question is do I want one Risen Reef or do I want both of them? I think it's worth it to maybe keep one of them, right? Like, what happens if I take out just one Prismatic Ending? I could see that. Like, I have a lot of removal spells. Yeah, let's do that. You know, if I have this Risen Reef in my hand and they go turn on Ragavan and I don't have an answer, you know, then I'll pay dearly for it. But otherwise, like, I just want targets. I want to be able to hit it. Is this hand good enough? Surely not. I mean, I have a lot of lands and I have a Boseiju. Yeah, we'll keep it. Like, if they're leaning on a Blood Moon this game, I can effectively nullify it by fetching out a Forest and a Plains. Although I'm going to need at least one blue source, so it's probably smart to get one of these to get a blue source and then the other one to get a Forest. But having Plains is nice for sure when you have, you know, Leyline Binding, Prismatic Ending in your deck. Hopefully I just draw another fetch land, and I draw another fetch land, and I can just get all my basics. Like, I have a lot of lands. I think I can afford to do that. Okay. Ooh, I almost passed through my turn. Ooh. I hit the wrong key. All right. So how do I want to do this? So I can get Forest Island, and I think that's acceptable. Yeah, because Forest Island lets me Prismatic Ending the Blood Moon. So we'll do that. Forest Island. And that way I have a permanent answer to it. And we can bounce this Shredder. If they want to like bolt it or something, I'm all right with that. They don't even have their own basics, so I'm not sure that's even good for them. They ditched an expressive iteration. I like that. All right. Do I want to ending this now? That's the real question. I think the answer to that is yes. And that leaves me open to... That leaves me open to casting Omnath next turn and playing a land if I want. Okay, they had multiple iterations. All right, you guys might have heard something because I plugged my headphones in and then unplugged them. I was getting kind of like some kind of feedback or something. Hopefully that's not, y'all can't hear that on y'all's end. Hopefully that was just my headphones or something. Do I have domain? I have island, forest, plains, mountain, swamp. I do have domain, which means I'll probably cast this Risen Reef. Okay, that's a good draw. So now if my opponent wants to get in with Ragavan, they have to kill my Risen Reef, and then I'll go for a binding. If they counter my binding, then I should be clear for Omnath. Okay, well, they use it. At least they burnt their treasure. Okay. I'm pretty happy with that. Do I try to play around Spell Pierce? Surely they don't have Spell Pierce in right now. I got a bunch of removal spells. I should just use my removal spell. Yeah. Excellent. I am going to play my Omnath. Very cool. This can even get my planes. So that'll perfectly set us up against Blood Moon. We'll have the Boseiju, and we can cast, like, most of the spells in our deck. This also plays around Spell Pierce, if they have it. I think I might uptick it. I have a Prismatic Ending in my hand, so it'll have Flash. If they Unholy Heat it, I lose a card, but I'm not super worried about that. I like the spot we're in. The only thing we lose to is a Murktide, which is the reason why to not just draw a blind card off our Teferi. What is this? Seasoned Pyromancer? Feels like a Seasoned Pyromancer. Okay. I am A-okay with that. It actually shuts off their fiery Islet, and they have one card in their hand, so I'm just gonna... I think I might just leave it into play for a little while. Okay. Like, that seems pretty reasonable to me. Man, I'm not gonna lie, this is pretty awesome. It's very rare to just completely dismantle this deck in like a mid-range slugfest. They're usually so efficient. Every once in a while you get them because they don't hit lands or something. I don't know what my opponent can draw to get out of this. I just have too many answers to Murktide Regent. Oh, wow, that is devastating. I wonder if their hand is just like 2 counter spells. Our Teferi Time Raveler is out of Unholy Heat range. That's a lot of lands for them. Oh, that was a nice game. All right, what was that? That was round 4. So we are 3-1. I will see you in the last round. All right, guys, welcome to the final round. See if we can wrap this up with a decent record. Looks like we are on the draw. And our hand sucks, so we're going to mulligan. Okay, this one's better. The problem is what do we want to mulligan in this hand? I think it might be the Omnath, as crazy as that seems. you know, we've run into this problem a bunch, but it could be the Cavern. Yeah, I'm going to bottom the Cavern. That Cavern has scorned me so many times this league that I don't even want it. I'm on the draw. If I don't draw a land, screw it. I just die. Perfect. Now, we still need one more land drop. We want to have a land, a fetch land for our Nissa. Okay, Thalia. We will pass. This Wrenn and Six was a perfect draw. I think I'm actually going to let us hit us. Nah, I'm not going to do that. We're just going to get this dead. I just need to stay healthy. I have a lot of value coming up with our our card advantage here. Oh. Shit. That's crazy, bro. So what do we want? Hallowed Fountain is unacceptable. We can get Breeding Pool. Breeding Pool, Hallowed Fountain. No. How do we do this? So we can get in we can get this Triome right here. No. How can we cast all of our spells? We need green mana, red mana, and white mana, and as many domain colors as possible. So white, green, blue, red. Is that the answer? I believe it is. We might lose a land here, but I think that's okay. Is that okay? Yeah, it's all right. We'll lose a land. I mean, they lose a land too. The difference between them and us is we have a Wrenn and Six. Okay. So we just got to go get like a Stomping Ground or something. Oh, we got a Flooded Strand. We can't get Stomping Ground, but we can get Sacred Foundry, which is what I'm going to get. I'm just going to... Oh. I was going to say, I'm just going to rebuy our Steam Vents, but... Yeah, that's why people don't play decks like this anymore. Like, people used to... This kind of Leonin Arbiter, even back in... I'm going to say it's heyday, but... You know, even before Wrenn and Six existed, was already super fringe, and now that Wrenn and Six exists, it's just, I mean, that what a beating! Like to have your strategy revolve around that, and then just somebody casts a 2-mana Planeswalker that just undoes all your work. All right, sideboard time. What do we want against D&T? I think our deck is probably just good against D&T. I could see Dress Down, maybe. What's bad? That's the real question. Leylines, Prismatic Endings, all good. I could see Elesh Norn being bad, but then again, they could have Flicker Wisp. I think this is bad and totally unnecessary. So let's go ahead and take that out. I could see Risen Reefs being mediocre. Do we want Force of Vigor? The thing about Force of Vigor is it can get an Aether Vial, but it can also get a like a Hearse or a Pithing Needle, which is something that they probably have Pithing Needle and or Hearse or both for our Wrenn and Six. But those are easily answerable by these cards, so we don't have to go quite that deep. I might just get this Endurance as a flashblocker. Chalice is certainly not good against them. Explosives could be good. I don't know, this might be greedy, but I think I'm just going to bring in like A explosives. Like, it's kind of an expensive answer for what they're doing. I just know this Priest of Titania is probably bad. We just need to be careful about Leonin Arbiter. Okay, so this hand is very good. I'm going to keep it. I think Call is the weakest card because it is a tutor effect that plays into Leonin Arbiter. Okay, that's an excellent answer. Okay. I am A-okay with that. We still need to draw blue mana, but that's okay. We'll get there. As long as we keep Arbiters off the battlefield, I think we'll be okay in this matchup. Arbiter is a problem card. Giver, okay. Fury. We'll just pass. Our Leyline Binding should cost 2 right now. Okay. Engineered Explosives paying off. That's kind of a good draw too, but I think I'm still going to cast Explosives. I kind of wonder what they're holding up right now. Oh, wow, that was that was an extremely weak concession there, in my opinion. All right, I'll see you guys in my final thoughts section. All right, so we finished our Modern League, and we had a pretty respectable 4-1 finish, so I'm pretty happy with that. So, what did I think about this deck? For the most part, I liked it, although there is some changes I would make. So, first off, the things that I liked were obviously the Wrenn and Six Nissa Resurgent Animist synergy is kind of the reason for playing the deck. I didn't draw Nissa as much as I liked, but the games that she showed up, she was very powerful. So I definitely like that interaction. I think Modern going into the future will have some sort of shell at the very least that are playing these two cards. It definitely felt good enough for Modern, whether it goes into this full-blown Omnath Elemental deck or if it's like a Jund version or some sort of variant of red-green plus elementals is, well, that's still up for debate. You know, I seen somebody who was using this engine to fetch out Furies and Bloodbraid Elves, which also seems pretty sweet. So I definitely like this package. But the things that I like specifically about this shell were obviously Solitude and Furies are strong, but I liked the Risen Reef plus Titania combo. You know, you get lands off your Risen Reef, which feeds your Titanias, which makes more elementals, which feeds your Risen Reefs. That was pretty cool. Obviously, this is one of the more powerful Elesh Norn decks, just based off the raw number of ETBs. I always love decks that are capable of playing Teferis. And, you know, if you're in the white colors, Prismatic Ending and Leyline Binding are some of the strongest removal spells in Modern at the moment. Maybe second only to Unholy Heat decks. Yeah, so deck's really awesome. The things that I did not like about the deck. I did not like the... Where are they at? The Cavern of Souls. I would obviously need more testing to know if the caverns are good or bad in this deck. I'd much rather these be a sideboard card than sitting there and taunting me in my games. You know, they don't play well with Wrenn and Six, obviously. It's nice to be able to give your stuff uncounterable, and it does cast a lot of your stuff, but you also play a lot of non-elementals. Like, you have Leyline Binding and Prismatic Ending in your deck. Those are both cards that care about either land types or colored mana, which this produces none of those with that. So it doesn't play well with Wrenn and Six. It doesn't play well with Leyline Binding. It doesn't play well with Prismatic Ending. And that is something that I do not like about that card. Maybe cut it down to 1 or go to 0 is potentially the answer. If you're really worried about counter spells, you could put 1 in the sideboard. But then again, we already have Veil of Summer, so that's kind of your answer to counter spells. And we did play against Murktide, and we played against a Murktide player who had, you know, like triple counterspell, and our threats are so good, it doesn't really matter which one resolves. So it kind of seemed like the Cavern was kind of more of a liability than it was an actual asset. So that part I didn't like. I think in the sideboard, some of the numbers can be worked around. I think this sideboard was really fine. I really liked the Chalice of the Voids. This is a great Chalice of the Void shell. It fits very well in this deck. It doesn't hurt you, and it very often hurts your opponents a lot. The question for me is if maybe the Engineered Explosives were kind of redundant. Like between Dress Down, Engineered Explosives, Hallowed Moonlight, there's a lot of overlap, which can be a good thing. But I felt like I wanted another Endurance. So I would try to go up an Endurance, you know, against like Living End or Graveyard decks. Endurance is just like the greatest of all time. I also wouldn't have minded a Pithing Needle as well. I like to not lose to Yawgmoth. But then again, you know, maybe Hallowed Moonlight is good enough against Yawgmoth. We didn't actually play against it. But those are just the kind of thoughts that I would think about. I like the Force of Vigor. If Force of Vigor is good, it's always broken. It may not be necessary. You know, the Elesh Norn was really good against the Amulet Titan deck, so I think the sideboard was fine. I would just go up the Endurance and down the Cavern of Souls. I'd even consider adding an extra land. I don't know what you would cut. Titania, I did like that part of the deck, so I wouldn't cut that. But I could see a reason why you might. It's just very expensive. You already have multiple 5-mana plays in this deck, and so it would be reasonable to cut this card. Anyway, yeah, so I think this deck is sweet, and I will see you guys in the next video.